Yes, we do need to have a second debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, since that's where the substance lies. Recall the campaign's earlier two presidential debates.
For the ability.
In the first, incumbent President Joe Biden opened by self-destructing his candidacy.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
By the debate's end, the two men were arguing over golf skills.
I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
Then came the Trump-Harris debate.
You talk about extreme.
Which started with the current U.S. vice president essentially backing up a garbage truck full of insults and unloading them on the former president.
You're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling.
But while Vance-Walz may have offered some much-needed substance, make no mistake. However impressive this debate's content, it won't decide the election next month. The top of the ticket, however flawed, remains the choice.
This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class.
Indeed, Mr. Trump and Ms. Harris loomed like swords of Damocles over what I thought were the debate's two most interesting moments, the issues that neither Senator Vance nor Governor Walz wanted to talk about, respectively, Mr. Trump's 2020 election denial and whether there should be restrictions on abortion. On this latter issue, it has become impossible not to notice that senior Democrats simply won't talk about it.
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
In the vice presidential debate, Senator Vance asked Governor Walz the same question, as did CBS moderator Norah O'Donnell.
Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look.
3 times, Mr. Walz declined to discuss it.
Governor, would you like to respond and also answer the question about restrictions?
Yeah, well, the question got asked, and Donald Trump made the accusation that wasn't true about Minnesota. Well, let me tell you about this idea that there's diverse states. There's a young woman named Amber Thurman.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and try to read Tim Walz's mind on abortion. Elsewhere in the debate, during a discussion on the housing shortage, Mr. Walz, who is a Lutheran, said this.
My mom still lives in the house where I was, and when I think of a house, I'm thinking of Christmas services after midnight mass where you go with your family.
What a delightful image. But it's hard to imagine that a man who carries that memory would, personally, favor zero restriction abortion. And that's notwithstanding that as Minnesota's governor, he presided over passage of one of the nation's least restrictive abortion laws. No 24-hour wait period, no parental notification.
My party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us.
Senator Vance tried to open the door to a conversation on the subject with a vision.
I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family. And I think there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options.
The Democrats' valorization of terminating pregnancies is off-putting. And Senator Vance's Better Options comments offered Republicans a way to talk about the subject. Mr. Trump should take it, but if he won't, down-ticket GOP candidates should. Senator Vance's denial moment arrived near the end of the debate.
He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future.
And J.D. Vance knows Mr. Trump narrowly lost that election, and in a better world, he would have been able to say that. But had he done so, his running mate would have cracked back, driving a wedge between the two that would have been publicized daily by Harris, Walz, and the media until November 5th. The silver lining of this debate is that both Messrs. Vance and Walz, polar opposites, somehow concluded that above all they should come across as reasonable. If only for 2 hours in our age of unreason, it was progress.